At exactly 8:03 on a muggy Monday morning, I stood on my porch, coffee in hand, still half asleep, watching 9 little cottages flick their porch lights on in perfect HOA unison, like some kind of suburban symphony nobody asked for. Tenants, people I didn't know, started lining up with reusable tote bags, following the lead of our self-appointed Queen Bee, Lydia Farnsworth, HOA president. Megaphone in hand, already shouting, "Welcome to Birch Haven Phase 2. My dog Buddy gave me a side eye that said, you seeing this? And that's when I muttered, half to him, half to myself, "Buddy, I think we just accidentally bought a subdivision." That was my wake-up call. The realization that somebody, somehow, had built 9 micro-cottages on the back slope of my property, painted all coordinated shades of sage and cream, with matching porches and planters, like they'd been plucked out of some home magazine shoot. You know, it would have been hilarious if it weren't so organized, so deliberate, so expensive, and, as I was about to find out, so not my idea. See, I'm Evan Dorsey, software architect, introvert, king of avoiding drama. I bought my little corner of Cypress Hollow for the quiet, big oaks, summer crickets, halfway decent Wi-Fi. I keep to myself, pay my dues, mow the grass, wave at neighbors from a distance. Never in my life did I think the HOA would weaponize my own land against me, but I guess everyone learns something the hard way. And when it comes to hard lessons, Lydia's got a PhD, mid-50s, gold blonde helmet hair, pastel cardigan. With pearls, she's the kind of person who refers to herself as a community advocate and runs HOA board meetings like she's arguing a Supreme Court case. Her SUV says HOA Queen, and you better believe she lives up to the title. Nobody runs against her, and if you even think about it, your mailbox mysteriously gets flagged for unapproved ornamentation, or your grass is suddenly too aggressive. The whole disaster started when I left town for 3 months on a work trip. While I was sweating over code in Singapore, Lydia decided my rear easement, which is HOA for your backyard, needed a vibrancy project. When I got home, jet-lagged and cranky, I found a freshly paved cul-de-sac, stamped concrete sidewalks, new street lamps, and, boom, 9 miniature houses sitting on my actual, literal land. Each one had a mailbox with a Birch Haven logo and landscaping nicer than my own front yard. It was like the story just rewrote itself around me, and nobody bothered to ask for my permission. Lydia showed up with a gift basket and a bright fake smile, explained that my unused back acre had been activated for community benefit. She handed me a letter, official, cream envelope, Cypress Hollow logo, stating the HOA had leased all 9 cottages to approved tenants and even installed a keypad gate, which, get this, locked from my side of the property. When I pointed out the obvious, "Hey, this is my land," her smile dropped, and suddenly I was public enemy number 1. That's when the violation letters started. Every week, a new citation, grass envy. Apparently my yard was too green, hostile fencing, my old privacy fence intimidated the new tenants, failure to embrace community densification, whatever that means. Then the real bombshell. A $24,000 harmonization assessment for sidewalks and landscaping I never authorized. The board told me, very sweetly, mind you, that the vote was unanimous and I had 30 days to pay up. At night, I'd see HOA patrols skulking along my fence line, shining flashlights, jotting notes. Once, I caught 3 of them measuring my recycling bins, like I was running a criminal syndicate out of my garage. One night, Lydia's right-hand man Derek, a guy who wears a high-vis vest and a body cam, like he's auditioning for cops, leaned over the fence and said, "You can't fight progress, Evan. This is for the greater good." He winked and tapped his clipboard, told me, not according to the map. Except, as it turned out, there were a lot of maps, and Lydia had cooked up her own version, stamped with the HOA logo, but not a single city endorsement in sight. She'd gotten her cousin with a drone to make new boundaries, curving lines through my property like it was Play-Doh. So I hired a pro, Margaret Chun, surveyor, takes zero nonsense. Her crew rolled in, found the original survey pins, mapped everything with GPS and lasers, and came back with the truth. All 9 cottages were fully on my property, about 40 feet past the real line. Margaret's report was ironclad, so I took it straight to James Whitmore, old-school property attorney, known for eating HOAs alive in court. He looked over the paperwork, chuckled once, then said, "Mr. Dorsey, this is the most blatant encroachment I've seen in 30 years. That's when we went. Nuclear, restraining order, quiet title action, and a lease pinned and slapped on every single cottage. Lydia got served mid-Instagram live, badge shining in her ring light. You can actually watch her face shift from influencer queen to someone call my lawyer. Court was absolute theater. Neighbors packed the benches, local news showed up. Lydia brought a 3-ring binder labeled Truth in gold. Letters, filled with charts and tearful testimonials. I brought the surveyor, the city inspector, a court-appointed receiver, and a title historian named Dr. Patricia Hoffman, who could trace property lines back to the dawn of time. She produced the original plat from 1978, pointed out every deed, every survey, every legal description. We showed drone footage of Lydia cutting ribbon on my lawn, giving speeches about community vision. At one point on video, you hear her say, "We'll deal with that later," while pointing at my house. Judge made us play that 3 times. Lydia's lawyer tried to argue good faith, affordable housing, the whole bit. The judge just leaned back and asked, "Did you get a survey before building?" Crickets. No survey. Judge said, "Good faith requires minimum due diligence. Building 9 homes on a guess is not due diligence." The final order hit like a thunderclap. The cottages were mine. The HOA found liable for trespass, encroachment, illegal construction. All leases became month-to-month ground leases, rents payable to me at fair market value. The HOA had to pay for all code upgrades plus a 20% admin fee to yours truly. Lydia tried to argue neighborhood vibes, but the judge just gave her a look that could freeze fire. Fixing Lydia's mess took months. Licensed trades ripped out the sketchy wiring, connected everything to the city sewer, got permits, real inspections. The electrical alone cost 42 grand, plumbing nearly 90, all billed to the HOA plus my cut. The tenants? Turns out they're decent folks, remote workers, a retired teacher, grad students. Nobody wanted trouble, they just needed affordable rent. I waived the late fees if they agreed. No wind chimes. No HOA drama. I keep the landscaping nice. The gate code changes monthly. Life moves on. As for Lydia, that courtroom ending, picture it. Judge, deadpan, reading out every sanction. She was stripped of her presidency, banned from any board position for a decade, fined $15,000 personally, ordered to build wheelchair ramps for her community service, so she'd remember what real legal construction feels like. She had to post a public apology, giant font, for a year. 2 years probation, 1 misstep, 5 grand in contempt. Oh, and she paid my attorney and surveyor fees. When the judge finished, Lydia just stood there, clutching her lilac Truth binder, face drained to gray, totally speechless for the first time ever. Her lawyer tried to comfort her, but she was already in her own private purgatory. Realizing the rulebook she'd used to control everyone else had just boomeranged right back at her. Now, every month, 9 polite little rental payments hit my bank account, covering the mortgage and then some. Sometimes I look out at those cottages and think, man, maybe quiet is overrated. Or maybe justice, once in a blue moon, actually works the way it should. But hey, that's just my story. What do you think? Was this karma, or just a neighborly nightmare taken way too far? Drop your thoughts below. Who was right? Who was wrong? And what would you have done if the HOA tried to activate your backyard? I've got my own answer, but I want to hear yours.